Calls meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Hippia, Fry, Schroller,
Here.
Hughes,
Here.
Bikeman,
Here.
Price, Behrens,
Here.
Trump.
Here.
5-0, we have a quorum.
First up, we have the approval of the minutes. Do you have any changes or additions?
Move to approve the minutes of the August 24th, 2020 meeting.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
5-0.
5-0. Next up, we have public comment. Is anybody here for 5 minutes of public comment? Okay. Next up, we have MHS homecoming parade request.
Good evening, guys. The school board approved us having a parade, and so then we were requesting for you guys to give us approval to do it, I think, starting on 12th Street and ending at 12th and Broadway, ending at the statue. Then there'll be a half hour, 15 minutes, half hour pep rally, crowning ceremony, and everything will kind of happen right there.
At the statue.
Yes, to try to keep.
So the homecoming event will be at the,
At the statue,
The
basically.
crowning.
Pep rally, yeah, because with the limitations of stadium restrictions, I thought that would be best to, with the capacity of the 25% of the stadium.
okay.
Yeah. What kind of a crowd are you expecting?
I have no idea.
Normal?
Yeah, I hope, I don't know, I just got word on Friday morning that it was approved, so I'm kind of in scramble mode because I was under the assumption that we weren't going to have one, so I've got to get, people notifications out for, parade floats and everything else, so it's kind of a stressful time.
Move to approve Burnsville High School homecoming parade as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Is there social distancing and masks?
In the thing that I've sent to the paper to put out, that we can't require it, we can't require masks or anything like that, but obviously we encourage it, that everybody to participate in social distancing and wear masks since it's a public venue, we can't require it obviously with the school, so. But it's highly recommended, yeah.
So the logic is that the large stadium is not a great venue versus the little half.
The logic is that since they have 25% capacity in the stadium, that's a lot, not so much that it's a large stadium, it's the capacity and not wanting that many people in there to go over that 25% capacity.
But yet we're gonna cram them all on our
On Main
downtown on the street.
300 people? Right. So that's,
I'm just relaying what I've been told.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
4-1. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm not either. That's not a good idea.
Hello, Council and Mayor. I'm
Yes.
Ben Fromm. I'm here tonight with American Heritage Girls and Trail Life. We're requesting access to use the stadium, or the space behind Lakeview again for our recruitment night. We've done this in the last 3 years. It's the same setup we've used before. We are planning on having the archery and BB guns with the backdrop. We're just requesting permission to shoot them. We've talked to both Chief and Brian, and neither of them have any issues.
Are you requiring them to wear masks too?
We can't because the county has not required it. It's an outside space. We're strongly encouraging them, and we're going to try to have hand sanitizer at each station. It's the most we can do.
You've done this for how many years? I mean,
This is the third year of doing this.
third year doing it? And it's always been the same?
Yep.
for this, I would ask that rather than suspending this code, just approve them of doing this, because by you approving them, you make it lawful. So this code will still stand.
I didn't know how to work.
No, that's okay. Every time I read it, it's kind of different.
I mean, you don't think it would be better to postpone it this year?
We postponed some of our other events, and in the years past, the kids have never really been tightly packed in one area. We kind of spread out because we're outside. And we're just we do an informal horseshoe for our introduction points. So we don't see it's any different than going to a football game or something like that.
I guarantee you there'll be far less people at this than there will be at the homecoming deal on Main Street.
Well, I totally understand that, but I mean,
Move to approve the Trail Life Recruitment Night as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I,
Abstain.
3-1, one abstain.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Council.
Next up, we have BG Consultants with the fire station.
Good evening. It's good to see you all and to be here again. I know a number of you are on the building committee, or at least have attended some of the meetings. Today's objective is to bring you an update of the fire station project, a summary of the bidding processes moving forward. The Marysville Fire Station project, its design is complete. The bid documents actually went out today, so they're publicly on the street. The bids have been issued for public interest, with the first notification being on September 17th, technically, here locally with the Marysville Advocate. There will be a pre-bid meeting on October 1st. This allows the contractors, interested parties to really begin to come to site, ask questions. We present information to them about the project. It's just a great kickoff opportunity. The bid opening will occur on October 19th. And then there will be a report of the successful low bidder to the city council on October 26th. As the architect, BG will review all of those that have submitted bids, and with the assumption of successful bids, our anticipation is giving a recommendation generally for the low bidder. It's very atypical for references to return a negative experience, if you will, on these individuals. Now, the building, as a reminder, comprises a footprint of about 9,000 square foot. The majority of that is an apparatus base plus a mezzanine. The following changes have been made, though, since we last presented officially to the City Council. One is that during the design process, the building orientation was changed. So originally, the building has continued to be on a north-south axis on the site in its orientation. However, rather than have the administrative office and public venue space being on the north side of the building, it is now on the south side of the building with parking on the south side. There's a lot of logistical reasons to do that, primarily future expansion of the building, should that be desired. And as well, a soils investigation during design discovered that the site was largely fill, not really ideal for just traditional construction. And so, as recommended by Terracon, remediation using helical piles is being utilized to make the site suitable for construction. So, in doing that, that has an impact on budgetary constraints based on the original planning that was done from the USDA, the CDBG application process. So, to offset the cost implications, the soil remediation work, a hosed vehicle exhaust extraction system, what we would call a Plymavent system, has been removed from the project and replaced with a traditional whole building air exchange system. Now, this is important, having either a whole building air exchange or a Plymavent system, because really when you look at maintaining such systems, it's really important, particularly when you look at firefighters and cancer health risks. So that's one of the reasons why this is such an important element, in that we're wanting to maintain that to protect the needs of today's firefighters. Now, the project has been improved, though, to also include several features that were planned during the CDBG project, and it is anticipated to be on budget. Now, the project upgrades that have been planned for, that would be kind of improvements, if you will, that we were able to work within the budget, is an enlarged equipment storage and extractor area for the fire station, increased base cabinetry and upper wall casework in the support areas, incorporation of a storage mezzanine in the apparatus bay, which will be very advantageous to the use of the firefighters and the department, an incorporation of a 30-foot building end wall. So when you look at the building on the north end, when you drive by, you'll see there's kind of this retaining wall that extends out. It'll be nice and clean. It'll actually be intended to expand the building with very little physical change to the site for the first two bays that you expand onto the building. That was incorporated now into the project. We're glad to accomplish that. You'll be able to continue to expand the building beyond that in the future, but it will just take more site work to do so at that time. There's incorporation of a concrete entrance for the public on the south end of the site. 5,000 square foot increase in site gravel parking area beyond what was originally planned. So this is better for, if you have venues there at that location, or voting needs, or whatever you might have. That'll work well. There's upgraded water systems for efficiency. The incorporation of interior metal wall panels for protection of the lower insulation of the building within the apparatus bay. The firemen are moving equipment around. We want it to be durable for them, so we've been able to upgrade those improvements inside. We've also added 4 power supply, power cord reels, in addition to the wall outlets in the apparatus bay. These trucks can be powered and can be charged, if you will, utilizing those power cords. Now, the budget for this, if you recall from the CDBG, is $1.273 million, so $1,273,332 right now. With the current estimate, we're tracking at $1,264,936. So we're within about $8,000 of that budget. I think we're tracking in a good spot. We will acknowledge, and it did so to the building committee recently, that we've noticed that in recent weeks, cost increases have been observed in construction materials, which may have an impact on bid day results. We're hoping that the bid climate will still be competitive, but we have seen some modifications. We don't have a lot of wood in the project. There's some wood materials that are treated. That's usually where we've seen the biggest increase in cost, probably because of COVID for access, but because of the hurricanes that recently occurred, just the anticipation for building materials. So I think I should also mention that in anticipation of hopefully a competitive bidding market, we do have alternates for the city that have been planned in. So these would be added value elements in the project that still have merit, but may not be able to fit within the base bid depending on the range of bid acceptance that we see on the bid day, barring any unknowns in the economy. Now, one is the provisions for protective pipe bollards at overhead vehicle doors. This is just usually an advantage because when firemen are backing up vehicles, sometimes it can be hard to see when it's really late at night. Some of those elements, just an opportunity to have a secondary protection just of those corners of jams. Exterior building signage, Marysville Fire Station, language of that like. Provisions for a vinyl wash bay curtain. The end bay currently will have water available to us so that you can actually wash equipment inside if it's inclement weather outside or cold. They can still maintain their equipment, which allows that to extend in useful life. Site, flagpole, and associated lighting was a request to have as an alternate add. Facility generator, and then finally a metal entrance canopy at the east main public entrance. So with that, I want to say that we're excited to see this project. We've had a lot of interest from the community around both the Salina area, Topeka, Manhattan, Lincoln, Nebraska are all being notified of this project, and we're anticipating, like I mentioned before, our hope is at least 10 bidders or more, which is the kind of climate we'd like to see on bid day. With that, I will open up to questions or comments.
I've got several questions, and I've had some of these asked to me from constituents, and I've got some here from another person. We had this rough design of what this station was going to look way back when. Why has it taken us this long to come up with a final design for this project?
That's a great question. The reason for the timing is just a design process. It takes time. while we have a concept design, we go through the engineering process, the structural engineering, the foundations, the footings, all those features take time.
But when we looked at your deal, you guys have built numerous fire stations.
Sure, yes.
Here we are in on November now. By the time we're gonna get going on this, you don't wanna build a footing in concrete in wintertime. This should have been something that should have been done, so we were building this back in August, not November.
Certainly. So to kind of go beyond that, we proposed a schedule for this that anticipated this date. We've actually shifted 2 weeks, I believe, based on foundation information that was determined by Terracon in the soils report. But this is something that could have been designed earlier or later. It is anticipated that the design of the building, generally we anticipate construction in November to begin. With the site work to be anticipated, November, December are great times to begin work prior towards the heavy winter seasons, and that's generally when we see construction begin.
I don't buy it, but that's what you guys are getting paid the big bucks for. The second deal, the helicoils that you guys are putting down, you're just putting them on the exterior walls?
That is correct. They're going on the foundation, so wherever there's a primary load or foundation load, that's where they're being located.
What are we gonna do where the fire trucks that weigh roughly 125 tons down the middle? Won't that crack the floor and stuff if the soil is not compacted underneath? And we keep driving these heavy fire trucks back and forth over this concrete floor?
That's not anticipated to be an issue. The reason being is that we're removing a significant amount of the soil underneath those concrete paving areas that will resist that, what we generally see as that variation in adjustment in the floor. You have an 8-inch floor, you have over 2 foot of reinforced, 2 inches or 2 foot of aggregate fill that goes underneath that on top of what you would typically have.
Usually AB3 that's
Yeah,
compacted.
the AB3 there won't be any issue with the building. It's all designed accordingly to resist those needs or those issues.
Okay, your stamp's on it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very comfortable
When it
with that.
comes
Like I
back in
said,
10 years and it's cracking and looking like this building over here, I'll make sure we give you guys a call.
Yeah,
and
we
say,
don't anticipate
"You
any
gonna do
issue.
it?"
We stand behind our design. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, there's a sentence in here that says recommendation using helical piles is being used to make the site suitable. Explain, there are some people that probably don't know what that is. You want to explain what that is, and do you need approval from us with that since you put recommendation in there?
Oh, no, I don't believe so. So when the geotechnical engineer did the report, they recommend some rammed earth piers, or rammed aggregate piers and some other options that were actually rather expensive, between the $550,000 to $100,000 cost range. As engineers, we've done this, and architects for decades. We looked at that and said it's not necessary, it's an extra cost that just is not needed for your project. So we looked at helical piles. Helical piles, essentially, if you can imagine something of like a drill, or those who deal with wheat, think of an auger. It's essentially installing an auger down until it hits resistance below grade, so that it's able to accommodate for the force loads that you would typically distribute into the soils. In this instance, the intent is to take those down to rock and to bear that weight, and they're a fraction of the cost and meet the same structural requirements that were in the geotechnical report. So as a recommendation, that was BG coming in to say, look, let's give you something that's really more cost effective, significantly more cost effective than an added cost that you would anticipate from these other systems, which would require a geotechnical engineer to come in and do subsequent testing. In this instance, they'll do limited testing as a result of the work.
Okay, thank you.
So will every pier door in the front have a coil under it?
Essentially so wherever you have a bearing point within the structure, the rigid frame, the primary frame points will have piers underneath them, yes.
Okay.
Other questions? Do you need any kind of a motion?
No.
Nothing?
Yeah, basically, as he said, the documents are out there, it's out to bid. It's officially announced this Thursday with the paper coming out here, but people know about it. I mean, they've been saying we've had interest already prior to the bids being out there, so all we do right now is wait. asked Clint to be here so he could answer your questions, because I knew there were some out there.
Thank you. So, and if you have any other questions, please let me know.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Clint.
Yep.
Next up, we have the demolition reimbursement at 502 South 7th. I don't think anybody's here for that.
He just wrote his recommendation in here and gave you pictures. That's
Yeah.
one of the houses we've been wanting to get rid of for a while.
Yes, it is.
This was one of the houses on the list.
Yep.
Yep.
It has a lot of stuff around fence and
So after he gets the house cleaned up, what's his goal on the fencing he has around there? To cover the house in and enlarge his fenced-in area, or?
He really would like to, I thought he had a plan to move some of this stuff, to move it. Most of it's not his. It's my understanding it's his son's. So he has asked him.
Here's my point, it's like a junkyard inside of it. Someone put a fence up to hide it.
Which we have in several places.
Oh, I understand that, so we need to,
Right. And he's aware of that. Will did speak to him about it.
okay.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, move to approve the economic development application for William Heston at 502 South 7th.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next
Mayor?
up. Yeah.
I want to ask a question about this demolition thing. How are we set with the fund that we set aside for this?
We're still okay.
We're still good.
We're still okay.
What's good?
We transfer, well, do you have the amounts? Right there? Oh, it's back there.
Yeah, in the back of the financials.
I didn't see it.
I thought we had
Oh, you gotta add that onto our list. No, that's expenditures, sorry.
Is it not in your report?
I saw it. $22,000.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have the USD 364 tennis court agreement.
They looked over our agreement and had a request. They requested that they continue to store stuff in the Beatty Depot for this next year. Because they don't have another option right now, and as according to them, they didn't have the staff to go out and build something for them. So that's their words. So they'd like it for a year, if for anything to prepare to move their stuff. If not, prove that they want to treat our stuff better.
So they don't have that much in there.
So,
They have been using the Beatty Depot?
for storage, yes.
For years.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't it wasn't on the agreement that they were using it, though.
It's been like that before I got here, so.
Yeah, it just was never in the agreement. It kind of just happened, and you're right. It is a historic building. It's not a storage shed.
So this was they put some wording together. I had John look it over. This is what came out of it after John McNish got done with it.
Well, isn't the Beatty Depot a museum? I mean, isn't it open for,
No.
there's nothing in there anymore?
No, I don't think it was ever used as a museum.
Yes, at one time they had stuff in there. I'm sure they did.
They did bring it here for that reason. That is correct. From Beatty, and it's like the sod house and the little school.
There used to be stuff in there. I know
Okay.
there was.
No, I've never, okay. But yeah, it hasn't been used as a museum since I've been here.
Well, for a few years ago, I don't know how many years, but at one time there was railroad stuff in there.
Right.
I know there was, so.
So this is up to you. This is what they proposed. You guys can,
Yes, Mayor, I'm curious, if they're gonna use it for storage. Who's liable?
Well.
Is the city gonna pay the insurance when something disappears, or what's the story there? If we're gonna let them store stuff there, it's gotta be some kind of insurance that the city's not gonna have to reimburse them for something that gets.
Just like me occupying a rental property, I'm responsible for my stuff, regardless. We're responsible for the building itself, but if their stuff's in there, they're responsible. Just like you, if you lived in a rental property, that would be the same way.
Okay, well, somebody breaks in to steal their stuff out of that building and it damages our property, we're kind of hanging out there. I just brought that to your attention, so I don't know what the answer would be, but there ought to be some kind of a policy that's going to take care of everybody that they should handle. If they're going to use it for storage, they should have it insured.
Yeah, and they're supposed to find a long-term solution.
Well, if
Or
that's,
basically
If
give it
that's
away.
what you
if
guys
that's what you
want.
want, it definitely, they,
Yeah.
yeah, they should find a long-term solution.
How much equipment is in there? I mean, the tennis, how much
Well, there
equipment
was-
do they need?
There was tennis equipment, there was they were storing art stuff in there.
We did not know.
Yeah, I think they're kind of taking advantage of us, if you really want to know the truth.
So, yeah,
This says it's for a 1-year agreement.
right. Yeah, the whole agreement's 2 years, but they said, give them a year.
For the storage
For the
stuff in there,
storage.
that's what I was just reading, it's 1 year.
Yep.
Well, I feel they should produce a policy to protect if they want to use the building for that.
I mean, they probably have a blanket policy that covers
Stolen
when
goods.
they have.
Yeah, if it's school equipment, then they should have stuff that they own.
I just cannot believe with as many buildings as our school district owns, the big yellow building there on the south end that the janitors store stuff in, and the current ag building, that there isn't enough room that they can take what they have in the Beatty Depot out of there.
And if that's what you guys want, you can make it that way.
It's not
It's
convenient.
probably, I was gonna say, it's
But
probably a
that's
matter of
not-
convenience.
I know.
That's not the-
Conveniency is
that's
not my
the-
problem.
I know
That's
it's
not
not, but that's what I'm saying, that's why it's there.
That's not the point.
I won't put words in their mouth, because I had a small conversation with the president of the board, but I won't reiterate any of the conversation, because it wouldn't be word for word.
I mean, you can approve it without that or tell them.
Right.
So I
You can change it, yeah, you can say, no, we won't
And then we
approve
just send it
without
right back to them.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the contract with USD 364, removing alternative 13.
And do you want to put it back to what it was?
Yes,
Okay.
the original 12.
Okay.
Well, then, do they have to take the stuff out then? Is
Yeah.
that what you're
Yes.
saying?
You have to go
Removal of
somewhere
what
with
they
it.
have in it.
Do you want to give them a time, if you get a second, I'll ask another question.
I'll second it.
Maybe that should be it, unless they want to put a policy on it that's going to insure our property while they're using it. If they want to store that stuff, it's handy to the tennis court and stuff. Really, there ought to be some protection for the city for them using that.
Well, what gets me is how many years have they been using it?
Pardon?
How many years have they been
Oh,
using it?
long
That's
time,
what,
Probably,
huh?
long time.
I know. How many of
Well,
us
but
knew
this
they?
has got to be corrected.
I understand that. So if we get them completely out of there, change the lock on it, and we're done with it.
I think what they were asking for is just 1 year to find a long-term solution, to find another place to store
Well,
the stuff.
I mean, they can buy a shed or
And
They
that's
can rent a
what they
place
were-
someplace else, as far as I'm
put it over
concerned.
at the administrator's building, it's right there.
Yeah.
What's that building worth?
We'd have to look at the
Because it
insurance.
was, it came from
Beatty.
Beatty and it's a historic building, it's not,
I can see what our insurance company values it at.
yeah, but to
Well,
fix a
it's
historic
still-
building
It's
is.
still not the schools to use. They've got enough of their own stuff, I feel like.
So there was a second. The question is, after you guys, I don't know if it needs to be included, maybe just a time frame for them to get it out. A
Well,
month,
yeah.
something like that.
Well, tennis season ends, what, October? in October 31st.
Would you?
I'll be nice, let them go through this current girls' tennis season, but.
So
fine.
you amend your motion for
Huh?
that?
I'll amend my motion for that,
That's fine, I'll second it.
Through October 31st, I got that right?
or whenever the end of the girls'
Into the
tennis
girls'
season.
season.
End of the girls'
End of
season.
girls' season.
And I want everything that the district has out of it.
Okay. All right.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
4-1.
All right.
While we're on that, and I noticed it's not on here, we also sent to the school the
The drainage.
drainage
And they
ditch.
did
They signed
send
off
that.
on it.
They did sign, I never heard anything, so I'm
Yep.
just curious if they'd signed on
Yeah,
it.
when we sent it to them, if they signed off, you guys had already approved it. So
Okay.
We just got that back Monday.
Monday, okay.
Monday. Yes, we
Okay.
did.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing other notices and hearings?
Nope.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion about any of the items? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3731.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance number 3731 in the amount of $2,944,006.04. A little higher this time around.
Slightly.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Schroller,
Yes,
Hughes,
Yes.
Beichman,
Yeah.
Behrens,
Yes.
Thrum,
Yes.
5-0.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Terry.
I think one thing about approving that and everything, the public probably don't realize that the swimming pool bonds,
Is it?
the swimming pool's been paid, the bonds have been paid out of that. So it doesn't sound like you guys all went crazy in the department store.
We bought new toys. A lot of toys.
Okay, staff reports.
City clerk.
Oh, yes, sorry. I have some this time. The League of Kansas Municipalities are asking if we are going to have voting delegates. Their conference is all online. It's all virtual this time, so we can set you up here if you want to see it. All the speakers are here. It costs $129, I think. It's $99 if we have 4 people or more. If you want to be a voting delegate, which would have to be voted on, you have to be registered to be here. The positive to the conference this time is that all the speaking is available for an entire year. So if you didn't get to go and you wanted to see it, whoever's on there for a whole year, you can see it.
Which will be nice in a way, because usually you've got to, a lot of times there'd be 3 or 4 things that you'd like,
you wanna
all of them are
see.
good, and you've got to pick one.
And so I did include their schedule at the bottom, so you could see if there was anything you were interested in or if you'd like to go.
so if you're not here on one of the days, you can still do it?
You can still watch. Yep.
You can still watch.
Oh, okay.
And you know, you don't have to be here, actually. You can watch it from your home,
We can
on the
do it
computer,
email
yeah.
if you'd prefer.
Well, because Thursday, I can't do it on that
Sure.
Thursday, so otherwise I would like to do it, but I
Sure.
can't. Thursday is not going to work for me.
I think
so-
Friday is the day that they vote, so it's just that you have to, when they actually do the voting, you have to be the
Okay, well,
delegate.
Thursday was the only bad day for me, and that's when most of the meetings were. Or the little.
The little- yeah.
The workshop, the
Right.
workshop.
Right, and that you can watch those at a different time.
Yeah, okay.
Happy hour gonna be.
Well, that was, they kind of have a comedian guy that's going to be online. They said that you have better snacks at home and better drinks at home, so I don't know. So if they're expecting you to supply your own, I guess.
I got water at home, so that's all
There
I
you go,
drink
water
anyway,
and
so-
snacks,
Yeah,
so.
You can always change the rules here.
We could have a happy hour in here if you want to make it okay.
That probably wouldn't be advisable.
Okay, maybe not.
I I still can only drink water, so it don't make any difference.
So I just need to know names of people that would like me to register them
By when?
by, well, if I could do it before is it Tuesday or Wednesday, you have a chance to win a gift certificate or something, so
Well,
the sooner the better.
Yeah.
I nominate Diane Troller for one.
Yeah. As far as I know now, that would be great, so.
Okay.
They're always very interesting, so.
Then the speaker is that's for the whole conference is a man that has been, I guess, on TV speaking on the race and the Black Lives and all those things. He's a policeman,
More than.
a police detective now from Georgia or somewhere.
Is he the general session speaker? Patrick Skinner?
Yeah.
Would you like to be the other delegate?
That's fine.
There you go.
And I'll go.
And you'd like to go? Okay. All right. That's awesome. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second. You want them to vote on that?
Yeah,
What was that to vote on?
just on.
The conference.
This was a conference.
For the delegates,
To vote,
voting
to be
delegates.
Voting delegates.
Yeah,
Diane and
Colleen to be delegates.
And Jason wanted to go to the conference too, so it'll be all on TV.
And who's the alternatives?
Jason would be then?
Yeah.
Is that okay with everybody?
It's usually whoever you're voting on, nobody knows who any of them are anyway.
That's up to you.
But you don't need two alternatives, right?
You can have up to two, but I mean, as long as these guys are really going, it won't matter. So on the vote?
Was there a second?
Yeah. Any
Kevin
further
seconded.
discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 5-0. Okay.
And the second thing is, the dump hour, we had people just like one or two during the week, and so we'd like to go back to Wednesdays, and we do have a health problem with the person that runs the dump right now. So, we'd still do Saturdays and Sundays, which is when we have the largest scope of what it is.
And most of the others that need in there got keys, so.
Right, and if they come, if they're cutting down a bunch of trees
Yeah.
or whatever, that, we do that. Let them go.
We can't keep it open until the end of the month. I mean, people are gonna be cleaning up their gardens and stuff this time of the year.
I don't know, we had one or two people is all
Well,
we were having.
I understand.
So
but
it just doesn't make much sense.
And the fact that the employee that's doing it is needing time off.
So we don't really have somebody else to take that
Okay.
place.
But people are gonna be pretty grumpy about it because people are really starting to clean. I mean, they're cleaning stuff up and cleaning their yards and their gardens and all this stuff. I mean, if there was some way we could keep it open. I mean, can't you just leave it open and let people go out?
Katie, we
Yeah.
have to monitor what's being put in there and how it's being put in there.
Other towns, Sabetha and over there, they just have them open. I mean,
That's their liability. And,
oh, okay, that's fine.
okay.
And then fall cleanup week, so this will start on Wednesday, we'll still be open tomorrow and Wednesday night, and then it will start this weekend. I mean, then we won't be open on Thursday or Friday, but then we will be open Saturday and Sunday, and then Wednesdays. So everybody knows that. And 1 to 5 and 4 to 6 until the daylight savings time. And then fall cleanup week, I just wanted to reiterate when it is, because it's always the first, or the full week in front of Thanksgiving. So that makes it the 16th through the 19th, and we'll do it in quadrants like we did before. But just so people are aware when it's going to be, I always like to tell them as often as I can, out on your curb before noon. In the morning is the best, when it's your
The day
quadrant.
before.
The day before works the best, so we kind of know, but that will be November 16th through 19th. That's the full week in front of Thanksgiving.
And it's just gonna be, that'll be 10 hours a week, is all it's gonna be open. Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes.
4, 4, and 2.
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
All right. All right, first on my list,
is the City Hall meeting room upgrades. This is the audio
Hey,
visual.
Austin, can we back up to a dump, I got a dump question? Sure. If a tree company comes in, like on a, shreds a bunch of trees on Monday and Tuesday, can they go ahead and grab the key and take it out to the dump?
Typically, but usually the tree companies already have a key.
But if they're
Okay.
from out of town, they do come to us and they say, this is who I am, this is my phone number, and then we gotta have that key back that
Okay.
night. Yes, they
Alright.
absolutely,
Yep.
we let them, and we have let some local, like if you know that you're cutting down a tree or doing a whole bunch of stuff, they can do, I mean, you don't have to be a company, is what I'm
Right.
saying. You can
I'm just
do it
asking if,
yourself.
if,
Right,
Yep.
okay,
absolutely.
that's all I got.
City Hall meeting room upgrade. This is the upgraded, the audio visual equipment in here. For the purposes of the grant that's paying for this, this helps, this is all designed to help if we ever have to shut down or if we ever have to restrict our movement like we did previously when everybody was shut down and we had the horseshoe out in the middle of the room and municipal court had to do, actually they shut down completely for a while, but this would help alleviate some of the stresses that we felt during that time. We had issues filming and recording and all this other stuff while we were shut down. The main purpose of this and the main purpose of the grant funds that are 100% paying for these is to help during those situations. Now, take that into mind that these will help during normal times as well. It will continue to help the municipal court. It will continue to help us. Even if we're not out there, we'll still be able to use these. And it will help the public that also uses the meeting room in here on a regular basis. They make presentations. We have the political forums. This will help those people and their presentations, their forums and all that stuff, and make it a better experience for the people participating. Let's see. There are two bids for this project. One bid of $74,455.05 from CCS Presentation Systems out of Kansas City. And the other bid was for $86,557.76 from Ready Systems out of Manhattan. Both of these companies are used locally. For instance, CCS is highly used by Blue Valley for their presentation needs, and they came recommended from Blue Valley. That's how I got a hold of them. Ready Systems, I spotted them doing work in United Bank just downtown. Their trucks almost all is there a lot actually. So these are two companies that have been in town and do work here. The systems they are proposing will allow us to record meetings, live stream, provide a better experience for citizens, allow for expanded use of the municipal court, and allow us to social distance if we were ever to be required to shut down again. This project has been approved for funding through the Spark CARES Act funding, so it should be 100% funded with the grant. I know I gave some, while everybody popped in, I saw quite a few council members. I tried to fill you guys in on what exactly is in this, but I'd like to answer questions at this time if you have any questions.
You said it could be funded 100%, but you're not positive?
It's 100%.
Okay.
Yes.
I was just gonna ask that too, because you said it should be, but,
Yeah.
but we're sure it's gonna be 100%.
Yeah, it was recently, the county sent an email saying that they approved all the projects minus some of the things the county was doing, and they had to just clarify some of the county stuff. I haven't received official paperwork from the state, but everything was going through the county anyway, so I might not expect that paperwork. I think we're expecting a check for the full amount of everything we asked for here anyways, and we just all we have to do is supply the receipts back to the county and prove that we paid for what we told them we were gonna pay for.
And it has to be done we have to have it all spent by December 30th,
Yes.
period. I mean, whatever we haven't spent by then, we have to give back.
So, are there any questions? Yes.
I got a question. Is this system going to take care of, we're going to have it on television and everything?
It will record, and we will be able to send that recording over to Blue Valley. Yes, we plan on having it still on television.
Well, one thing, they're not intending on paying them because there's a little lady back there's been doing this for 3.5 years. And our ex-mayor with the camera that she paid for and stuff, she might want a retirement check. I was just curious.
Right.
She's old enough.
Hey,
That wasn't nice.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you, Karen.
Yes, thank
We
you. Karen.
appreciate it.
Well, don't go away just yet.
we're not.
They gotta install the system first.
And it has to,
But if not, I would ask that you approve the lowest bid from CCS of $74,455.05.
Move to approve the CCS presentation of $74,455 for the audio and mic upgrades for City Hall.
A second?
Second.
Okay. Terry?
Well, we're going to discuss it now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it should be subject to knowing that we're getting the money.
Okay.
we are.
If the money don't come, then we're gonna have to say no.
They were just, I
Set
believe they
$100.
were just signing the checks over at the county.
well.
But they didn't tell me that.
Yeah, it's been approved. Yeah, my understanding is all we've got to do is have it done, turn in the receipts, and then they will.
No, I think they'll give us a check here in the next week or so.
Oh, really?
We don't
For the
spend
full
it all,
amount,
we
and
have to
then-
send it back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Even
yes,
better,
we won't spend any money until we have
All
it.
right, because that's pretty expensive to tell everybody in town that we're gonna
Yeah.
spend almost $100,000 on a system here
Yeah.
to make a party room out of the city hall.
Yeah. Well,
As long as it's,
But to me, it's gonna help, if people wanna come in here and use this room, they're gonna have a projector they're gonna be able to
Yes.
use now, where they haven't had that before.
well, we got a projector here now.
Will there be something like a mic plug-in that they can plug it directly into that camera and
It'll all
all
well,
goes
no,
through
there's
the
gonna be
system.
2 cameras on the system, and they're gonna be hooked to our mics.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be integrated.
and our wireless mics too, so that if we have to go back down there again, we can each have a
Okay,
mic and.
so they're gonna install permanent mics here, and then we're gonna have additional, if we ever have to go down there, or, like I said, the offshoot of that is for those, remember when you're at a forum, you're passing the mic back and forth? You won't have to do that anymore. You'll have your own mobile mic right in front of you, a gooseneck as well. So it should all be integrated. I say should very strongly, that this is what the system was supposed to be designed for.
Should be really nice.
Should be.
Well, for $75,000, it should
Oh,
be.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If there's one silver lining to this whole thing, I mean, because we had been talking about updating the system before.
But yeah,
Yep.
And we're gonna end up with a nicer system than we had thought
we
we were
would've
gonna
paid
get,
for.
and somebody
Yep.
else is paying for it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be good for, people
Well,
have
yes, it will.
a lot more options to view the meetings.
Well,
and
yes.
have a lot, yeah,
but
that's
that's,
what we do now.
yes. I'll agree with that, but that's a lot of money if it's not. If we weren't getting reimbursed 100%, then
We wouldn't, yeah, we
that's a lot of
probably
money.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
getting as much as we're getting. Yeah, Terry?
What's gonna happen with all this old equipment sitting around here?
It'll probably be, if it's not usable, it'll either be sold off, or if it's not usable by anybody else, it'll be recycled.
Be what?
Recycled. So we'll look into option 1 of selling it off, then if it's not sellable, then we'll recycle it.
Well, there's quite a bit of equipment sitting around here. when you stop and think about it, just because we're having a pandemic and the government's getting loose, we're still paying for it as citizens, just because it's the government doing it instead of our little budget.
Well, I mean, this money is, if we don't spend it, for instance, the county's gonna spend it. If the county doesn't spend it, the state's gonna spend it. Or they're redistributed to another county. This has already been allocated to this area.
Yes.
Okay,
And this will be a match system, and it should operate correctly.
Yeah.
We won't have the issue like we have now where sometimes the mics go dead, if sudden noise blows the amp out, takes the amp out, and you gotta reset everything. So
Yeah.
we shouldn't have any of those problems anymore,
We hope.
which will be nice. We better.
We better.
Well, I know, but
So,
I know our church has one, and we don't know, it doesn't always work the way it's supposed to. A lot of this stuff is supposed to do things that it doesn't always work.
that's all the questions I have.
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 5-0.
Next one up is basically an estimate to do redo the road into the airport and the airport parking lot. This is a engineer's estimate to get it onto our list of projects that need to be done at the airport using the FAA entitlement funds. This is not, this is probably their best guess at this point in time, but this project was one of the priorities. Actually, it was the priority besides expanding the runway that the Airport Advisory Board wanted to look into and get done. So we had our engineer put this together so we could submit it to the FAA so it can be put on a list, top of the list for our next project. And so I'm looking for you guys to approve, basically just putting this on the list so we can work with FAA money.
This is also 100% funding?
No, this is 90%.
90%.
Yes. That's the breakdown right there, yeah, $67,000.
Yeah, but look what they put in for mobilization
I
to
see.
get somebody your $50,000, come on. That mobilization is killing us on every project we do.
Right. But again, this is their estimate. They'd rather you be disgusted with the price right now and be pleasantly surprised when the bid comes out than the opposite. So I find that Olson, especially Heather and Diane, the people that we work with, are pretty decent at making sure we know what's going on.
But you know, when the total cost of your concrete to put in is $200,000,
Right.
and you're paying a quarter of it just to get them here,
Yep.
I mean, something's wrong.
I agree.
But
You just need approval so they can put it on a
the list.
plan.
Yep.
Move to approve the airport reconstruction access road and parking lot.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
4-1.
All right, the last thing, one of the last things, sorry. The general fund is sitting at a little over $1 million, which is still over $100,000 more than this time last year. The water fund is a little less than $20,000 below where it was this last year, but I foresee it still increasing, especially due to the fact that we're not doing a water line project this year, so we should hopefully get that back up over the next few months. The sewer fund is sitting at $179,000, which is low, but should increase It's low because we just, 2 months ago, we paid for the lining of our sewers, which is a decent size expenditure. We'll probably reevaluate how we're paying for our lining next year, just to mitigate this sudden drop in the regular sewer fund. Sales tax fund is now at $716,579, which is a little over $250,000 more than this time last year. We actually had a really good surprise for our sales tax receipts. We got, I think overall, about $155,000 in sales tax, a little over that. And in the last 5 years, just glancing at the last 5 years, we haven't received that much sales tax, like ever, in a single disbursement.
What's the reason for that?
I couldn't find, in fact,
Is it because people's not going out of town to shop?
probably
Every
that-
time you
most
buy
of it.
online, we get the sales tax instead of where
and
you're
in
buying.
fact, usually our increases or our changes are dictated by Walmart. Walmart was down this month for this disbursement. So just to, yes, buying online is probably your main source. Buying local, people not leaving town, is also a reason why we're seeing our sales tax thrive versus some of the larger towns saw some decreases in their revenues. So, that's great for small town Kansas. So, it just shows you how shopping local and shopping from your home, especially when sales tax is applied,
Tell my husband.
helps.
I do know Valley Vet, they have started charging sales tax on all their online stuff now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I did a lot of business out there.
Yep.
Yeah, they do a huge amount.
So that is great. It's a great look for our sales tax fund.
I think on the flip side of that, like April, May, and June, it hurt the bed tax or the hotels.
Yeah.
Did.
Absolutely.
So that part of it's just starting to pick up again.
Right. Yep. And we look to that to bounce back a little bit too. Any questions on financials?
Speaking of the water, have we heard anything more about those towers?
Neptune just put together a proposal that needs to go through municipal supply as far as our towers. So I've been having to push them along just a little bit to get things going, but I'm hoping to have something soon to get those going.
Yeah, because we'd like to get that out of this year's budget.
Right, correct. And it wasn't really a roadblock because once they told me I needed to figure it out, internet, they needed internet at both the water towers to get this thing going. So there's obviously internet at the 17th Street water tower, but there's nothing out at Prairie Lane.
Seriously, there's nothing at Bulldog Apartments or anything through there?
Nothing that they can just hook, they'd have to run a good line to it
Really?
to get it going. They have a proposal, wireless. They would basically put something on the 17th Street tower to beam internet over to the other tower, and voila, they said they do it all the time. So it's a steady stream of internet that we can rely on.
Okay.
So we're not paying for a new line to go to that tower, we're paying for a router, basically, in layman's terms.
Right.
To get over, to get it over there. So that was good news. That was a one-day conversation with Blue Valley, and they were pretty happy to help us out.
Good.
So if nothing else on that, one more thing that maybe get this over with, but the dog park raised the funds, and council said they voted to match. They had a question, are you okay with them starting the process of getting this going, or what do you guys need?
We need to go down and decide where we want that fence.
The fence or what about the bridge?
Well, the bridge, the fence, the whole 9 yards. Because if you been down there and looked at that property, there is a berm that goes around that on 3 sides. You gonna let them build on the berm? You want them to build off the berm so you can mow down to it? I mean, there's some, are you gonna make them put concrete
And
under
we
the
can-
fence? I mean, there's a lot of things we need to get in line before we go, or go here's your property, you maintain it.
Well, I don't think they're gonna work on the fence until they have all the money. And so.
But still, I mean,
Right.
there's decisions that we're gonna have to make so they know what they need to look forward into raising money.
Right.
If they're gonna do this project down there.
Right.
I know no one's thought about that fence. I don't want two of our guys string trimming all day around, going around a 4-acre fence. To me, that's stupid.
Right.
That's a lot of.
Okay, so do you want staff to handle that decision-making? I mean, is that okay?
Like I said,
Have the parks crew go out and go, no, this, or at least the superintendent or supervisor go out and go, this is a terrible idea right here, and kind of help them find that out?
I want to
Say so, they should know. Yeah.
How to place it.
How to place it.
How it makes our lives better.
it needs to be in concrete, if you want it honestly and truly. If you put rock down, you're still gonna have to spray it. You're
Right.
still gonna have
Oh,
to
yeah.
spend man-hours down there working on it.
Right.
We want something we can go in and mow and get away from it.
Okay. As far as the bridge goes, are you okay? I think we should get in, regardless of how whatever contractor does, I think to protect ours, we pay a little bit for a structural engineer to okay what they're doing. Is that
I
okay?
think so too,
I think that would be my recommendation to go forward with.
Well,
as long as it comes out of our $5,000.
We're not going to pay extra.
I'm not paying extra
No.
for it.
Until they have the money, I don't think we need, they get $5,000 and that's it. That's what we've decided to give them, so,
I don't think we need anything more than that.
nope.
Yeah. Well, they basically got the 15,000.
They got
with what they raised and what they
$17,000,
had
yeah.
and what
Yeah.
we're putting in, yeah.
Well, that's fine.
So they're what they need for the bridge part of it. Yeah, they're-
did everybody here read the email we got about the utilizing
Right.
the arena up there maybe for a dog park?
From Charlie
Did everybody
Swindeman,
read that?
from Charlie Swindeman, yeah.
Might be something to look at, to think about. I know the bridge and all that stuff's really, but
Well, here's my thoughts on the arena. You're still gonna have to do chain link fence around it, because the fence that's there is not gonna be adequate to hold dogs in.
No, you'd have to redo the fence. Right?
Yeah, so you're gonna spend that much money on the fence, on the arena, then where are they gonna go? I know they only use it a few times a year, but they do use it a few times a year. But I just think, I mean, if whatever anybody wants to do, but I think that you're still gonna spend money. You're not just gonna have to go in there and use it as it is. You're gonna have to
Well.
spend money.
6 rolls of snow fence would turn that into a dog-type pen.
Snow fence will not hold dogs, I don't think.
We're not gonna let them sit there and chew on it all day.
I don't have any idea what snow fence would hold a dog. I
I,
would
Or
think
how-
it would, but
Or how it looked to be circling around the
I
park.
don't know how often you have to replace it then.
And how you gonna, if you use snow fence, how you gonna trim and mow in there?
No, you'd have to have the concrete around it
Yeah.
just the same.
But in the future, if we ever do redo Lakeview, I mean, we had that area designated for parking is what,
for parking,
Well,
and
I
we
just
talked
wanna
about
bring that to attention.
T-ball
that
fields, and there were a
what
few
Charlie
different
said.
ideas for that area.
Yeah.
And before we get into this a lot deeper than what we are already, has anybody checked with anybody that has a dog park about feces and other dogs getting contaminated and stuff like that?
Basically, they put up a sign that you're responsible for your own dog
For picking up the.
and picking up at the, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that don't work either.
Well, I mean,
That
that's
don't
the
work in the
same-
city park right now.
It's the same with any other park. I mean, you're gonna have that.
Like I said, there's a lot of things down there you gotta look at, there's low spots, there's trees growing, where they wanna put their fence. I mean, I think all that needs to be looked at, because, you don't wanna have to come off that berm and try to, balance your mower so you're not hit the fence down there,
Right. No, we want it as easy as possible for whoever's mowing.
Well, if we give them the money and they want the dog park, then they can take care of it. I mean, that's the city
Yeah.
shouldn't be liable for it as far as I'm concerned.
You're like me, Diane, let them take care of the
They
dog
want it,
park.
they can take care of it.
On their voluntary list, help list, did they have mowing on there?
No. I can't remember what it said.
Well, that's
The city property.
It's just like every other building we get that's inherited to the city. It costs us money in the long run.
I think our city crews have plenty to do. We were up at the cemetery and those guys are going crazy up there at the cemetery. They don't have enough people to trim it. They're trying to do, I mean, these guys don't have enough time to take care of what we have now.
I
They don't-
totally
they don't
agree
need
with you,
enough- they-
Diane.
huh?
I totally agree with you. I mean, look at the buyouts this summer. I mean, they hardly got them kept up and mowed. I mean, they look like, or dry grass on them all summer long, just
Yeah.
like everybody's yard.
It
Here
was
we're
a
gonna dump
bad
another.
year for mowing. I mean, it was
I
just a
mean,
rough year.
nothing against Dale and the crew, but I've never seen the cemetery look like it does. I mean, it's
It is terrible.
It's terrible. We were up there, we drove through there the other night. I mean, they just can't keep up with everything with the rain and stuff we've had. We do not need to add any more stuff for them to take care of it. If they want to build this dog park, we give them the $5,000 and they can take care of it. That's my opinion. We didn't help the Ottens boy and we don't need to help anybody else.
I think their deal is to build it and turn it over to the city, am I correct?
Probably.
Well,
It's
that's,
already the city's.
Well, I
What
understand
you
that.
want, That's city property, and the city's gonna have to take care of it.
But right now, we only mow it a couple times a year with the big mower that goes on the back of a tractor. They're gonna want it finished mowed with a riding lawn mower, and
well,
that's gonna take away from parks and everything else that we have mowers out on.
Well,
I
I
don't
think, go ahead.
I don't know how long it's gonna take them to mow an area that size with our current mowers that we
The
have.
worst part is string trimming.
I understand, yeah,
If you got 2,000 foot of fence, that means you have 4,000 feet of string trimming.
right. Time you do the inside and outside. That's why I said it needs to be set in concrete or something, or underneath of it, so we can eliminate some of that, so they can run the mower right up on the concrete and clean it up.
So we could make some kind of agreement up that they take care of the mowing the grass and upkeep, right? I mean,
I'd be fine with that.
I think that's the way to go on that.
Yeah, but I don't,
well, they want it and that's the way it is.
I know, but at the same time, we have a lot of parks and that's how we've gotten all this stuff and it's turned over to the city and generally the city maintains it and we all pay for it.
Well, then how are you gonna find where, I mean,
I know,
we've only
but
got so
I'm-
much stuff that we can take care of, and we've gotta take care of the stuff we have and make it look nice, and the
Our
guys
tax
cannot
base.
keep up with everything.
And our tax base is only
I
so
know.
big, and, the more we get, the more we take out of this pot and put in that pot, and, it makes all the rest of the pots get
Oh,
smaller,
I
so.
know.
And we gotta have the employees to do it. I think we're down employees, and
We are, yeah, that's gonna be
Okay.
an issue.
And then next year, when it comes, and you're
we're having
gonna have to
more
mow that
problems.
maybe a couple times a week, especially like in a year like this last year. If you mow that twice a week, that takes it off of another place that really need mowed. I mean, there's a lot of things to look at when, it's simple to come here and go, hey, we wanna build a dog park. But are they looking down the road of what it's gonna cost we, the taxpayers and the citizens of Marysville in the long run? Don't get me wrong, I think it's a great idea, but I think they're way too big on what they want. I mean, 4-acre dog park, I don't think we need a 4-acre dog park.
So you guys approved $5,000. Let's just bring it back to that. You guys approved for the match.
Yep.
for the bridge.
Yep.
How do you want them to proceed on the bridge?
Well, you want to do a structural engineer. I think that needs to come out of our $5,000 if we're requiring them to have it.
But are you okay with us finding a place for it? Because we got well, we have a general idea where the right-of-way is down there, and just finding the best place. They'll clear it out and all that stuff. Are you okay with staff handling that placement?
Yeah.
Okay. We can get that, we can get that taken care of, and that's just the bridge. They already came and talked about that. So they can get that going, and I've already asked them to clarify their bid, making sure, with Inline, making sure they know what they're getting out of that. So, if you're okay with that, I'll have staff go down and guide them in the right direction on how and where we want that bridge to be placed. Okay.
Do you want to write out a formal contract in for them? Do we need a contract for that?
Well, that's what I'm wondering is, with all the discussion, do we want to have a meeting with them before the bridge gets put in to sort some of this out? Whether they're gonna mow it or we're gonna mow it, or...
We got a contract with the other mower too, right? That's...
Yeah.
But we're paying them to mow.
We're paying them, yeah, but that's...
I don't think it would hurt, so that they know where they're at, and we know where we're at.
So you want them to come to the next meeting?
Well, I would maybe sort it out before we get a bridge there, and then you get in negotiations and nobody wants to do it, and then you got a bridge to nowhere.
Some kind of signed agreement.
Yeah, I would, try and work out something, figure out what's gonna happen once the bridge is in, and once this thing gets put in, who's maintaining it.
Or see if the attorney would drop some kind of a contract, I don't know. The way to
Didn't
go.
we go through this with disc golf? They installing stuff on our property, and the whole idea behind who's
Generally, when
who's
something
doing
gets
all this,
installed
or-
on city's property, it becomes ours to maintain. That's kind of how all that's always been. I'm not saying it always works out in the city's best interest, but that's generally how it
What
goes.
about the trash cans and stuff like that? Or is that going to be their responsibility too, or?
They are.
It'd be ours if it's on our property, I would think.
What all was on that volunteer list of things that they were doing?
Oh, they had people that would do landscaping, and they had people that would do maintenance of the fence. They had people who would install, who would build the fence or their stuff. They had some people that no longer live in town now, but I know they were asking if people from out of town were gonna come, but there weren't very many that were willing to clean up, and I don't know what they considered clean up. There was no mowing. It was mostly just, they want to build it like they do the playground, and then here, yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty much what it was.
And most of the other towns that I looked at, like other towns, they have Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or other groups, and they're the ones who
Oh,
took it. And they,
really?
and they're the ones who put up the fences, and they're the ones who took care of it. It wasn't the cities that took it over, it was groups that built it, the fences, and they're the ones who took care of it. It was their projects, not a city project, so.
Well, because I know they said they had like 140 people that wanted to use it, but of that, I don't know how many were volunteering.
That was calls, 140 calls. That don't mean they're gonna use it.
Okay.
Right.
You're exactly
Okay,
right,
sorry.
Terry.
Yeah,
That's just the number I remembered.
yeah, like the disc golf, we had all the people that came, and now who's playing disc golf?
They play.
They play.
Yeah, but not nearly as many people that came to the meetings.
Well, it's like a golf course. You're gonna drive by it all the time and see nobody there, but they're still using it.
Yeah, but not,
So what do we want to do, have a meeting?
I voted for the disc golf. I'm not against the disc golf, but you just didn't see as many people as what you saw that were.
Well, and the disc golf was a little bit easier to sell because we were already mowing that area anyway. They just got to
Well, I know.
weed eat around a few poles and you're good. This is basically creating a new.
Right, I understand that, but I'm saying that, that all the people that were for it, now I don't see these people, I don't see people down there playing it that we're all interested in, is what I'm saying,
But at the same time, people can be for something that they think is good for the community that they don't necessarily
I
use.
understand
just 'cause
that, I'm just saying.
I think as a whole, it's a,
Yeah,
good idea.
I understand that, but
Anyway,
So do you want me to set up a meeting, or you want to just have them come to
do
the
you want to
next
just have them
meeting
come to
and
the council meeting, or do you want to
and
have like
discuss
a
it?
Parks and Rec meeting, or what do you guys want to do?
So I would like to hear or find out how they're gonna handle the trash
and the upkeep?
part of it, yeah.
Okay.
So you want them to come back to the meeting and then,
What are they setting the bridge? Do you have any idea?
Well, I mean, we've got to kind of
They were asking us
go ahead.
where the best place was before they started clearing out trees.
Because I don't think we ought to be putting out, the city ought to be putting out the trash bags and the stuff like that. I think it's,
Well, and this is stuff to be sorted out, like I say, before we get a bridge in there. Sort out some of the details.
it just shouldn't be our
backside.
responsibility to check it.
Okay.
so for the September 25th?
Yeah, I would say try and get them the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. That's all I had.
Okay, standing committee reports, street. Do we have anything on street?
Well, I don't know if this is on the streets, but this handwritten note here, are we replying to this? No.
She just wanted us to know, so I just gave it to you because I didn't know of a better way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of the
Just put
same
it in your-
discussion we've had with that, is that we know it's kind of a mess. At the same time, it's a service that you need to have in town too, so.
Then it needs to be in a proper place.
I know, and that's,
Well,
ideally, we'd come up with a solution where we could have that in another spot besides where it is, and
Well, didn't McNish say that, Will needed to talk to him first?
You did.
He did?
And they've moved quite a bit of stuff out, they said,
Okay.
and some today. And then they were gonna take care of, he talked to them again today to make sure that they were gonna mow where they were supposed to mow. And they got another couple days before our guys go in and take care of it.
all right, anything else on the street?
can't hear you.
Diane, anything else on the street?
I was down to United Insurance the other day, and they were saying down there on the corner there by them at 5th and 6th and Broadway, the southwest corner there, that the yield sign, that they don't know, people are seeing it as kind of behind the stop sign or whatever. I mean, you can if you know it's there, but they think people aren't really yielding because they see a lot of people go through there and they've seen some really pretty near accidents. So
yeah.
they didn't know if maybe it could
From
be
the east to
moved.
the west, they can't see it.
Huh?
When they're going east or west, they can't
If
see
they're,
it.
if they're coming from the west.
Going east.
If they're
Going
heading,
east.
if they're heading east, it's, so they didn't know if it could maybe be moved. I don't know. I mean, you can see it if you know, if you're really looking for it, you know it, you see it, but I don't know. They think maybe people are missing it. Maybe it could be moved. I don't know.
The
So-
biggest issue on all the yield signs on Main Street are, you have a half a block, and those people fly around the corner from the highway, and they fly. And
Well, no.
on oh yeah, on 12th
Well, no,
Street, I about get hit every day. On 13th, it's the same thing.
That's it. This is what I'm talking about, Cindy. You're coming
Yeah,
up
I get
Broadway.
it.
You're coming up Broadway Street and you're going east.
And you should stop.
and it's tucked behind the stop sign.
Okay.
Or the, I mean, not the stop sign, the
Light pole.
light pole, yes.
The light pole, okay.
The light pole. Yeah, that's not the stop sign, the light pole. Anyway, I mean, if,
It is.
when I drove up there, I was looking for it, so then I saw it, but you can, it's kind of stuck behind there. So anyway, you might have the guys check it and see if there's any way they could move it in front of the light pole instead of behind the light pole. So anyway, I told them I would check it out, so that's all, so, okay.
Okay.
In your mind to yield.
Anybody else say anything on streets? Water, wastewater? Nothing? Parks and Rec?
Any updates on tractor?
2 new people came, gave them information, they're looking at contracts.
One of them even took a tour, so.
Okay.
We're
What's that?
hoping
And that was for last
The
week.
Parks and Rec.
for the
Yeah.
Parks Director.
Parks and Rec.
What about them?
The Parks and Rec, when they've had any more
How
interest
interested
on
were
it.
they?
We walked them through the contract. They were sitting there asking questions. Some of them, one of them was making plans. I mean, it's just, yeah, on how they could do it, so. That's the most interest we've had. One, like I said, one of them actually went out and they were interested in what they mowed outside of the ballparks and all that stuff, so, yeah.
Are all the fall rec sports is that gonna happen, or like soccer and flag football?
Yeah,
and
that
stuff?
contract
Yeah,
runs through
those
the
two
end of the
December
year.
31st. I have not heard Brian say he's not gonna do it, have you?
Flag football, teams have picked, and so
Okay.
is soccer. I
Okay.
talked to him earlier today. Soccer practice starts Wednesday, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Said they got way more kids out for flag football this year than they do soccer for some reason.
Oh, wow.
And they're still gonna use the Legion Field for soccer?
Do we have any more updates on the swimming pool? Any report? We're gonna have more report on the swimming pool?
The last payroll was the 1st of September, so till we get all that finalized number and the last utility bills. So as soon as we get all those last bills
Because I think
paid.
Keith had asked about it the
Yeah.
last time or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or no, I mean, Parker had asked about it.
Right, yeah,
Parker had
and
asked
we
about
have to, the last payroll went out in the September payroll, so it would happen in this month,
it. Okay.
so.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw this under Parks and Rec, because I
Yeah.
just don't know where to throw it. I've had 3 people approach me about the old dam site, about
Yeah.
wanting to either put a concrete dam in there or put riprap in there to get a dam put back across there.
Really?
What did they tell us that
That was quite
That's
a
a
bit,
core, wasn't it?
that's quite a bit of money.
Oh, I told them, I said, if I remember right, it was like 486,000 or something like that to redo it.
We had,
They said they can raise the money. That was the funny part I thought about it.
they want to fish pretty bad?
we had engineering companies approach us after that, and,
I told them I'd bring it here, so that's why it's here.
yeah, I mean, I guess if they want to if they raise the money and figure out how much it's gonna cost, that's one thing, but, the only action I would probably recommend is if what department would be in charge of that?
Probably.
No, their ag, the water wells.
Oh, the water, yeah.
Waterways, if they ever came back and said, hey, we'd like you to we would have liked you to fix it, nobody had a word to say about it, they didn't care. Because the worst thing that came out of it was the fish kill when the river went over the banks and all the fish were sitting on the side.
Right.
They said it hasn't, or they didn't say it had a negative impact or an impact that we needed to worry about, so.
Okay.
As far as the city was concerned at that point in time, it was at best, leave it alone. Yeah. So if somebody wants to raise money, that's one
Like I
thing.
said, I told them I'd bring it here and see where it happened and where it went. and-
So, I mean, I guess if you guys want to see how much that costs, that's one thing, but,
Like they told me, that couldn't cost that much to haul some big boulders and rocks like they put in these jetties and stuff and dump them in on the north
They-
side.
they
They're
don't-
wanting to fish, or why are they wanting this dam back? Oh, I'm just asking.
I couldn't get a response off them like that.
it's probably not as simple as they think. I'll just
I'm
put it
sure
that
that
way.
too.
I'll just probably put it that way. It's not just throwing a rock in there, it's,
We own that ground.
we own a square, a nice big square out there. And we'd probably have to remove the concrete that's on the bottom of there too.
So, like I said, told them I'd bring it.
Yep, okay.
I do know the Parks and Wildlife came to us and said there's been so much damage out there that they've put up all no trespassing anywhere around that. So
No, that wasn't Parks and Wildlife, that was the co-op.
they called the co-op, but the guy that came in here was that Parks
From
and,
Parks and Rec.
But they were.
Ranger.
Yeah, but the co-op called and said, are
Right.
you okay with us putting no
Right.
trespassing signs up?
because the ranger was like, do you care?
I know they were getting after kids that were going out there
Oh.
fishing.
Yeah.
Because they were doing so much damage.
Right, and we have our own no trespassing signs out there for our own benefit.
Right.
Right. Anything else on Parks and Rec?
We were talking about having another disc golf tournament. Are they doing anything? He was gonna
Well,
get something
that was
together.
supposed to happen before all of this,
Pre-COVID.
yeah. this
No,
craziness
he
started.
came in here after that, didn't he?
Right.
It hasn't been all that long ago.
Well, they were planning one in May, and then everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
So they hadn't gotten back to it, and they hadn't reported back to us either.
Oh, I thought he'd been in here after that, but maybe not. Maybe it's been that long ago.
Yeah.
Just seems that. Okay.
Cemetery and airport. Police and fire. Admin and finance.
Yeah, I got one question on admin and finance. The speaker system that is in Marysville Main Street's possession, or
It's in our building. I mean, that's our building.
whose equipment is it?
It's ours.
It belongs to City of
It
Marysville.
belongs to the city. Well, I hope it does because we spent thousands of dollars fixing it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we acquired it, but
Yeah, but we've been fixing it this whole time, so I think we've paid for it. If it
Okay,
wasn't ours.
I just,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
we need to come up with a set of rules then
Yes.
on the system.
Yep.
If it is our system, we need to come up with a set of rules. Who has keys? You need to come check it out.
has keys.
Yep.
You know,
No, yeah.
I heard a squabble about it, and I wanted to know whose equipment it is.
Yep, it is ours. As far as everybody else is concerned, when it gets broken.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No, that's fine. I mean, I heard the squabble over it, and I wanted to come here and find out and clarify to
Yep.
the
And I'll-
public and everybody's
and I
listening
did-
that whose it is.
I did ask that if organizations want to use the speakers, they just come into City Hall and put their name on the dotted line saying they take responsibility for this equipment if it ever gets broken, under their
So we know
supervision.
who actually is using it and when.
Yep.
And I don't have a problem with that. I just,
Well, we don't know. You're
yeah,
right.
but we need to know if we're paying for it all the time and it's getting broken, we need to know who's doing it and we need to
have
take care of
access to
it.
the key.
And you know, in that case, I think it needs to be locked up in a more secure facility with City Hall, the only one having a key for it. So someone has to check it out.
We'll have probably a solution for that, so, yes.
I mean, if that's what it needs to be, that's what we need to do with it.
Because you think some people thinks that it was Main Street's
Yes,
speaker.
yes.
I got that impression too. I mean,
Yes.
that's some,
Is that the one they use for car shows and stuff, you mean?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
Same one,
same one.
same system, yeah.
Yep.
And I know we put the speakers up downtown, we, the
Or they
city
use it
did.
Downtown, we used
And,
to.
you know, with help of the car show people and stuff, and you know, we have people still, I know they're gonna run some wiring here when they do the 7th Street.
And I think
Corridor deal and-
we fixed it, we've paid for new amps, if it's not ours, it's now ours.
Yeah.
I would say that,
Okay,
yeah.
that's all I have.
Okay, have a couple of appointments.
move to approve Rich Lando, Todd Ackerman for the Airport Advisory Commission.
Second,
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed?
Aye. No, I didn't oppose it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, roundtable. Diane?
Nothing really.
Terry? What?
Okay, the
23 minutes, Denver starts playing, so I don't have anything to say right now.
Keith?
any lagoon updates? I mean, where are we at with that?
They just finished the coring. They had to do some extra not extra, but the analysis on it was a little bit longer than what we had at the fire station. So just got that. So they're the engineers forming their recommendations off of that.
Okay, so they're still recommending another lagoon or taking it? make a
yes.
habitat across the river.
So basically, what we were looking at with the coring was we're definitely looking at one new lagoon cell. And what the coring was basically confirming is that was a good site for it. With the other coring on the other side of the river, we were confirming that it was a good site for wetlands. So right now, it's still looking like that's the plan.
So what's better, the wetlands or another lagoon? I mean, what's...
It's going to be a combination. It's going to be both.
Okay.
Yep.
The wetlands just take the place of the,
Outflow into the,
right,
Yes.
into the river.
Yep.
or the, sending it over to somebody else's land.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
irrigating.
Irrigating.
Yeah, irrigating. Yep.
That's all I got.
Colleen?
No.
Kevin?
No, not tonight.
I don't have anything either.
Adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?